Okay, well, here's something really exciting. There is a brand new record store opening here in Denver, and it's at a place that's called the Stanley. Now, I've been in here before. They've had a pop-up record store. Here you can see the Stanley. And this was a factory, and during World War II, they made ejection seats for the fighters. And I think they kept going like Korean War for the jets, so it's known for ejection seats. But they repurposed this and they have made it into a mall, and it has no major retailers. It is just more people doing their own individual thing. Lots of food, eating, and noisy trucks. So, the pop-up store in here has opened up a standalone. So kind of excited. Let's go take a look at this. Ejection seats. So this is a really cool place. And there it is, Wax Trax. And here we go. Welcome to Denver's newest Wax Trax location. This is their 4th location, I believe now. And kind of a Denver institution, one of the oldest, if not the oldest, record store in all of Denver. And, you know, at least their main store, which you can find closer to downtown, really not too far from Twist and Shout. It's always a place where if someone comes to town, we go check out the Wax Trax, the main store. But here is a new satellite. Now, it's in a mall, as I mentioned before, the Stanley Mall. And I have videoed when they had it sitting outside in front of the store. It was, just, they kind of like a pop-up they had out there. And they've had that for about 2 years, and they've been talking about putting in a store. Well, they finally did it. So, very exciting to see that they did this. And look at the floor. Here we go. I want to make sure I showed you the floor. Looks nice, doesn't it? It was a little tight in there. You could see that you really have to squeeze in between the racks. So let's just find out what we got going on here. A little prog and krautrock, because I know some of you really want some prog. So there we go. I don't know. I can. At least I do know who that is. There's a lot of new albums. And that So is considered prog. Peter Gabriel, So, prog. I would not have known that. Or maybe it's krautrock. But as I mentioned, there's quite a few new albums in here, not as much used, and we'll see that a little bit later. There was a nice selection. I think it's split up nicely, so it was easy to shop for what you are personally looking for, which is always a benefit. I think that's super important. Some stores just kind of shove it all in there, and to me it's just way too confusing. So but there is, again, a lot of basically new which nothing wrong with that. It's just personally, I kind of like looking through the used. Uh, I would say I don't blind buy as much as I used to, or I kind of, when I do, it's off of Bandcamp. Really new groups that generally can't even get into the stores. So this is just some of the punk in there. Punk new wave, I guess you could say. Just seeing what they have. A lot of people there. It had been open 1 hour, and there was just a good sized crowd, which was great to see. And there was a lot of records going out. That's also great to see. I would say most of the shoppers were younger. And we could say younger than me, but that's like a large part of the population. Most seem to be more in their 20s. I did see older people, probably 60s or so. So it was a nice mix. And of course you saw there was like a 2-year-old with a balloon. I guess he was more seeing the balloon really than the records. But he was happy. He was being entertained. So we got Alt Indie. Let's see here. Coming around there, picture of the floor. And they had live music outside. It was getting set up, so the live music hadn't started yet. So this is the used. Oops, and there's a lot of empty in that used, isn't there? And that's either in the first hour they sold a ton of used, or they just didn't have a lot to bring in, which surprises me because Wax Trax is such a large chain now. I mean, that's the fourth store. You would have thought that they would have had quite a bit to bring in, but who knows? So let's take a look. I think I figured I do have that Dream Syndicate, so I put that back. Otherwise, that was pretty tempting. I looked at it, and let's see. Oh, there's a cool looking sounding album. Ghost Teen, I got that one. Peter Shelley. That was, again, I thought about it, but I just, sometimes you're just not feeling it. You're not going, ooh, I need this, ooh, I need that. I was having one of those days, I think. I wasn't kind of feeling. Doug Kershaw, yeah, in the Psych Garage. Doug Kershaw. Must have got misfiled. Someone else must have thrown it in there just for kicks. So there's the Mammoth. I think I might have purged my Mammoth. And it wasn't a bad album, but I wasn't listening to it. So I go, Wilson Phillips. Look at the price on that. Holy crap. $49. Wow. I never would have expected that. Taylor, of course, that looked sealed, so I don't think Taylor should have been there. Well, that was sealed too. So let's see what else. I do like that ABC album, but I do have it. And keep popping through. So that you can see, though, the used, there wasn't a big selection in the various categories. I did see a gentleman, he was shopping. Boy, I bet you, he had a stack of records he was finding and pulling out of there. I looked at some of them, what he had, and, I guess me and him weren't going to be fighting for anything. Nothing wrong with that. And electronic, not much of that. Hey, for prog people, industrial. And for those that like the prog, there we have, what do we have in here? Atomic Rooster prog? I didn't think so. Could have been misfiled. So let's keep piling on through this. And nothing's really jumping yet, but you never know. That's why you just keep a looking and seeing what you're going to have. Some metal, only hatchet metal, kind of southern rock, but that's okay. That's okay. They got to go somewhere. So let's see. So the mall though. This is a nice mall. It's usually busy. If there isn't upstairs. The upstairs doesn't have nearly as much as many stores as the downstairs, but there is still a number of them up there, fun to look at. I just find it's a great place to come and eat. They have heck of a good tavern there. It's a great beer. A lot of choices, which is most appreciative. All right, what's in the jazz here? That our Blakey looked interesting. Green's always kind of fun. But I've really been kind of focusing on new jazz lately. I haven't been buying much of the older jazz. I guess I kind of got burned out for that. You know, in the BC a few years back, yeah, that was just with the tone poets. Everyone was going hog wild with it. And yeah, I think I just kind of, I got, after a year or so, I just found, yeah, I got all this jazz. I'm not listening to it, but there we go. Hope you enjoyed that. So the new Wax Trax, that makes 4 stores they got now in the Denver area. Isn't that amazing? 4 stores. This is more eastern side, northeastern side Denver. Really, there's not much on the eastern side. Like Aurora just has 1 record store. There's some other suburbs over here just growing like crazy, like Parker. They don't even have a record store. And there's a lot of record stores in Denver. They're just more concentrated on the other end of town. Thoughts? Well, I didn't find anything. I mean, there was a couple albums I liked, I was interested in, but did I need it? Probably not. I did buy 2 albums though. And, well, we'll show you that when I get back. So I did find something, but overall, I wish there was more used. And they've been open for an hour, so maybe all the used got bought while I was, in that first hour. I mean, I saw some guy, he had, oh man, okay, about 20 albums, 20 used albums. So he was finding stuff. I wave so I don't get ran over here. People go, frickin' people with phones, they don't pay attention. So, there maybe a lot of good stuff sold, I don't know. Otherwise, it's mostly used. I mean, new. It's mostly new product. And I kind of shop more of the used. But, yeah, it's still nice. I'm glad they opened and they have that. And it only gets better. They'll get more stock, more interesting things. So, see what happens. So I mentioned I bought 2 records while I was at the record store. And they weren't for me. It was my daughter-in-law's birthday. So for the very first time, I bought my very first Taylor Swift albums. I bought the original 1989, and I bought Taylor's version of 1989. And then, I have them up at the checkouts, and I'm trying to justify my purchase to the person up there. It's like, does it really matter? Just buy the damn music. Maybe, that could be very good music. She has a lot of Taylor Swift, so in all honesty, I should be probably taking some of that down and playing it just to see maybe I do like Taylor Swift and just saying poo-poo to it. That's how we grow, isn't it? That's how we grow as collectors. We just got to try stuff out. So I will do that one of these days and maybe do a Taylor Swift video. Interesting. That could be interesting. Because they have yet to hook up their stereo. Been here a few months. They have yet to hook up their stereo. But then again, I have a different stereo for CDs, and I've yet to hook that sucker up. So who am I to say? But that's what I purchased there. Nothing else really grabbed me. I did find, I thought I had videoed a bin that had kind of a few more expensive albums, but for whatever reason, the video did not come out. So, because there was an Old Mutants album, like for $150 I was looking at, but I got thinking, do I really need it? And I decided I didn't. So, yeah, passed up. Thanks for hanging out with me and going to the record store. It was fun to get to. I just have not been into record stores because of work, but things are quieting down, and hopefully we'll start going out, seeing what's out there again. Have a great week, and see you for this early morning Sunday show.